shit. I just thought of something. Some of my lingering, like, guilt, like, being in the wrong. The CIA lady was right. The ex-CIA. Now, oh geez, what if it could be? I was 13 years old, and I got tularemia. And actually, I was going to turn 14, right in there, from a rabbit. Like, I dissected it and stuff. And so I found a dead rabbit. Well, a dog had found it, or it wasn't dead yet. It was up near a path. So I was out walking with a dog. The dog found it, and I brought it. I told my mom I wanted to dissect it. And the CIA lady that was there, ex-CIA lady, she said, no, we ought to not. But she wasn't really adamant or anything. I took it home and I dissected it and buried it. And I had a little cut in my finger, and I got tularemia. It went on for a long time. I was going through that shit in the 8th grade. They were fucking with me in school, and I get sick. In spells. I'd be real sick for 2 days with a fever, and then get back, and I could walk around like for 3 days, and I'd go up and down like that. I think it's because then another animal's supposed to come eat you. That's what it does. And so I go back to school, and they wouldn't let me out. They were like the abusive there. I was at I was just starting the 8th grade at the Lincoln Junior High School. I think they put the police station there now. It's I had 100. God, what is it? 104.5. It wasn't 105.4. It's 104. No, I think it might have been 105.4. It was all the way like another degree and you're dead. Like I got that once. My mom came home and I was like doing that. I was like floating around the room and stuff. Felt like, okay, but so I'm out there, and it could be like, okay, like could it be like they set that up? And maybe if I didn't have that cut on my finger, because it's from biting my fingernails, so I had a little bit of a hangnail. And I was thinking, like, there's no way, right? But I don't know. It's at our school. We had we were dissecting animals, and we had fetal pigs. Like, guy had gotten fetal pigs. He was our principal then. He went on to become the science teacher at the junior high school, Lincoln Junior High, after that. He's with the shit, too, the bad, the MI6. He's with that shit. I know from hindsight. And so they'd be up in our school. They wouldn't send their kids to the school. And it's just weird timing. That'd be so fucking funny, too. Because, like, I just happened to go out for a walk with this dog. Like, we're all out, my mom and ex-CIA lady. God, man, I go for a little walk. The dog's here, like, leads me right to it. That is so funny, isn't it? Yeah. Damn, man. So, okay, so this is, I'm doing these videos to tell you guys how the universities, how they're fucking, they got fucking worked, like, in the whole culture. And that's something that would just go down the memory hole, probably. And that's how shit got to be how it is now, too, probably. And I've got damn, man. So, the 3 dogs. So, we had, well, 4, I feel. We had our family dog. He passed away maybe when I was 12. Like, he was 15 or 16, so he was old. He used to, I remember when I was, like, real little, he used to be the adult. That was kind of cool. So we had him forever. He's older than me, of course. Okay, so then we don't have any dogs. And I'm like 12, my brother's 9. I have a cat. First I got a cat, then my brother got a cat. And then my brother was going to get a dog, and they skip over me. Okay, so my dad's like run out of the house. He just got moved out a few months before or whatever. Just, even whatever the hell it was. He's off living in a trailer or whatever the fuck he is for his midlife crisis. And so the CIA lady got a dog for my brother, and was there with my mom. Like the whole thing gets announced, my brother's gonna have a dog, and I'm never gonna get a dog. Like, and that's one of those like basic, like middle class things. Like, and there's no explanation, or I'm the wrong age, or something like that, or talking because I'm older and I'll never get a dog. And then the way they have to say it's for him, it's because the stuff that happened to my brother, and they keep him. And she works him. Like, that was fucking. That shit, they worked it. Okay, so, but there was 2 dogs. The first dog was a fail. So the first dog is a St. Bernard. They call it a St. Bernard puppy, but he's full fucking size. Like this thing, and those are notorious. That's one of the 2 breeds that bites. It has incidents. So I'm kind of wondering if she did that on purpose, because it's supposed to be some straight, giant puppy dog, like full-size dog. That she had picked up somewhere, the CIA lady, to present to my brother, and they're with my mom and telling me I'm shit, whole fucking thing. And then, you know, with hindsight, I know she's working it and drinking. She drinks with my mom and stuff, gets her going. And so, like, I went outside the house and started honking on one of the car horns at one point. Was upset because they're like full of shit. They're doing it on purpose too, to fuck me up and work the whole thing. Okay, so but anyway, they end up, like, CIA lady goes, and we have the new dog, and so we're all working with it. And then the dog is chewing clay, and I worry he's going to eat clay, because I'd heard there was some TV show about this lady that would eat clay or something. It was one of those moves of the week thing or something. She had pica, that, you know, a disorder, she eats clay or something. So I thought, like, it's bad to eat clay. So anyway, the dog was chewing clay, and he dropped it. Like, we're all sitting on the rug, me and my brother and the dog, all playing. And he dropped the clay, so I put my hand over the clay. And the dog got upset at that, so he turned around, just, like, right at my face, bit me on the face, like a damn shark, all of a sudden, because I had taken the clay. And it was all fucked up. It was like my lip was all cut. All this fucking shit hanging down. My lip was like hanging down. My upper lip was hanging down off my face, like a horror movie. And the fangs had hit the cheek too. I ended up getting 18 stitches in the lip and 5 on the cheek. You know, at the hospital. So I got my whole lips hanging down. And I go in, I look at the mirror, and it's all like that. And I went to tell my mom, and I said, "Don't worry, it doesn't hurt." Because I knew she was going to freak, so she just freaked. And there's blood everywhere. Like later, my brother and my dad came back from his, the trailer or whatever, like he said he was cleaning all the blood off the floor with my brother, like tons of blood. And so that's that. So I had to do all that at the hospital. And it's funny because the CIA lady, she has her scar. I was saying inches before. It's like a couple inches, I think. If I'm remembering it's right, it's next to the mouth or something like that. Affects her smile. So now I got my scar. That's where that's from. And so then, and I guess the CIA lady came and got the dog. Like, so when we all got back home from the hospital, like, the dog wasn't there anymore. So I went through that. It was always fucked up from that. And everyone just fucking ignores it and shit. bunch of shit. So then, like, it's a while later, I don't know, months later, or like half a year, whatever the fuck it is, and all of a sudden the CIA ladies are again with another dog for my brother. A little dog named Soapy. We named her Soapy. Our family did. For my brother. Like, so I don't get a dog. And they said something, yeah, but I have to go to college or something, so I shouldn't have a dog. Because it's not, because I'd be going to college later, something like that. I think they would say that. But, so I was a little Shetland sheepdog, and he was a puppy. He was really cool, too. So she got that dog. Okay, so that's that, and it's both the fucking her and the CIA lady fucking... She said she was CIA too. Retired, so she is too. So then what I'm thinking now is, like, when I got a dog finally, it's just too fucking weird. Like, I had to move out to my dad's house out in the woods. My dad is like a university professor, a sociologist. So he ended up living way out in the fucking woods and being weird as fuck in this little shack. And so I had to sleep on the floor it's kind of like almost like a one-room shack with little rooms, but small like that, with a big old fireplace. That's from a cabin that used to be there. Like, it was before that, even that building. They put a new building around it, but I wouldn't have a bed. I'd sleep on the floor in the living room. It's like a temporary thing, but it went on the rest of my life. And so I was out there, and all of a sudden I was going to get a dog when I was out there. And my dad is like fucking, he'd never get a fucking dog. And he'd always like, and he'd never fuck up in like, because I was like 16 then, okay? By then, so I had been living out there for a while. And it's just like, where the fuck is everything going to go, like, after that? And he was okay with it. They must have been working him and my mom. And it was someone that my mom knew, which has to be back to that fucking what's-her-fuck CIA lady. You know, some friends. Someone was working some shit. And to get my dad to go along with it in that weird way. It also helps to make it so I could live there, out there. It sucked. And now I just think it was. I think it was. Because, like, if you know my dad, it would never... He would never do that, and it would never be weird, and it would just never happen. He wouldn't get around to it. First, he wouldn't want it. He's always like, he'd never do shit like that. Like anything where there's not like some plan in the future, you know. And he's always bailing out. That's all he's doing. So I'm wondering if he's gonna just kill the dog later or something. That was even before. God, man, because the dog ended up getting killed. Maybe that was even back then. It's so fucking weird. But, yeah. I think it was. So it ended up, like, I was in high school, and then I just stopped going to high school and did the GED test. And it was time to go to college, and my dad was like, fuck, he was lying. So my dad killed the dog. Like, first he's talking about like someone wants to poison the dog, and he's like, and that was always a thing. And I used to think, oh, it's because we're paranoid, you know, like my dad was smoking pot, he'd get me smoking pot, and then I'd be smoking pot, and like I'd always think, like, it's kind of, he's just a dork or something, or we are, like, you know, for these weird things. Now I see it's forced, like he's doing something, you know. That's why it's so awkward, doesn't make sense. But it ends up the dog, he's saying, like, somehow we got this idea that someone wants to kill the dog to poison it. That had been going on for a while. Now I think in hindsight that was like, there was some fucking plan, just in case. I used to think it was even him kind of wishing or something. But anyway, like, it was the December of 1983. That was 83, wasn't it? the cold snap that hit on December 20th, the dog died outside, froze to death. So, like, we were going out to go into town and put the dog outside. My dad would make the dog be outside in his fucking doghouse. And there's no way he can live. It's just so damn cold. But I was thinking it's okay because my dad, it's all this, like, it fucked me up. It did mental shit. I had, like, not hallucinations, but false memories that stayed in my head. They're like a hallucination. And like, from then I worked it out. I figured it out later. But, so we go into town, and we first stop at his work, at the university. And I stayed in the car, and he said it's dangerously cold. Like, why am I staying in the car? And that's weird. I think I had a psychic break from that later. Like, because I was thinking when we went to the University Mall, the shopping mall, and saw the book Pet Sematary, which did come out then too. It had just come out, probably in hardback, not in paperback. We were walking and kind of looking at each other like that. And now I'm thinking maybe we had seen it like a couple weeks before or something like that, but somehow I was thinking it was right then. And so I had we had seen it that day. We had like also gone over there, and I was thinking, how could we go over there? Just on the way. And I was trying to think of where I was in the parking lot, like where I was, where the car was parked, and how we got out of the car. And then it hit me, like I was still in the car. I was like waiting for him at the university, like it was like a hallucination thing, you know, with this. And now I think it was just it was like years. It was like that's even something I built up later. That wasn't originally a false memory like that. I think, I'm not sure. Things go into their place. I've had like 5 of them in my life, and they mark a certain thing because they're supposed to be absurd. So it's a marker, and so you can work it like that, or at least with me. And so yeah, so later on, he comes. I end up at my mom's house later in town. She lives in town, and so he comes and he has, like it's time to pick me up, and he goes to talk to her in the back, and he comes out. They both come out, and he says, "Oh, it's about my dog's name was Max. It's about Max. He's dead." So my dad told me that, and he said he had gone home because he had kind of worried about the dog because it was cold, and found him. And he's fucking lying. Really, if he's going back there, he's making sure the dog's dead. He's like set the whole fucking thing up. Now, my dad told me that when he went to find the dog, the dog was laying in the, back behind the house. It's not even a backyard. It's a shack up on a hill. And someone had undone its collar, like had found it dead, and undone the collar. It was laying down. So I was always wondering about that, why my dad said that. Like, it could be like the neighbor found it, the neighbor kid, and he didn't, because my dad said he asked the kid, and he said he hadn't. So I was saying, God, how did I not ask the kid too? See, that's some weird stuff, man. But I was thinking, maybe the kid got stuck, like, he said no, because my dad's so weird. Now it's like, so the other thing is, like, my dad's saying it, because he's fucking narcissistic personality disorder and whatever, so he's like doing some weird shit with it, testing out shit. He's also kind of bragging about what he did in a certain way, just trying it out, or it's sort of a lie, it's a placeholder. But now I'm thinking, I just thought of, maybe just today, that it could be like, he goes up there, and it's like the collar's off because someone else is there fucking around with it, making sure it's good, and there's a sign, oh yeah, it's good. So my dad can just walk up there and be like, yeah, found it just like this. Because like somehow the dog would have to be not making noise or something. Maybe we'd start barking, or that would just be an idea. So maybe my dad was in on it, with someone. But that's so out of character with him. But now I'm thinking, like, later in these years. So we took him to the dead body dog, the dead dog, over to the veterinarian. There's a veterinarian, like a horse doctor or something. He's up on that road. And then like my dad was still talking about, me and him talking about how someone had tried to poison the dog, right? And we're wondering how the dog could have died. Like, when it's obvious it died from the cold. But we're both like, oh, he must have been poisoned and he didn't get in his doghouse. And we're like saying that shit. And I'm wondering where the fuck, because you gotta, like, I'm such a dork or something. And I'm thinking him, but no, he's leading that shit. He's leading it. And it's probably like crazy level on his side too. But he's talking about, like, so we bring it there to that fucking veterinarian to get looked at, and then, like, buried or disposed of, whatever. Like, looked at to see if there's poison. Which is insane, right? And I'm thinking, like, me and him together, we're insane together, like, we got our problems, but no, my dad was, like, leading it, right? And then that doctor, that's too weird for that. So I think that now them motherfuckers might have been part of the shit into it. My dad's so non-social though, but there'd be certain particular things, so maybe it would be. And he'd get the go-ahead and the okay and be like that, right? Because then he doesn't have to worry, like, I can just go, because if it's a dog, then I have to, he can't just put me out of the house or whatever the fuck it is. Because, like, where does the dog go? And it's like, it just makes it easier. Or I could go off or the fuck. And get rid of the dog anyway. So I'm kind of thinking, because it's too weird with that veterinarian, and it's weird for my dad to, like, do that. To, like, bring, on the fucking coldest motherfucking day. So we're going to go, oh yeah, we're all schizo here. Like, the dog just froze to death. You look up that weather on December 20th, 1983. It's like fucking 0 degrees or whatever the fuck. It's like insane. And, like, we're thinking the dog got poisoned. And, like, it's really the fucking veterinarian already fucking knew about it. And it had already been a thing. And maybe my dad was even thinking about getting some poison or something from that guy or fucking whatever. There's some weird shit. And it's probably like that's fucking, when I call the guy the horse doctor, like the fucking, he's that guy who's alcoholism and stuff too. He's kind of scary, like scare the horse doctor. Yeah, you see, I'm from the country. This is the only guy I'm afraid of is a horse doctor. The horse doctor. Actually, our mayor in Cape Coral, he's like a horse doctor. He seems like when he's doing good, he could play a good horse doctor. But man, that's what that fucking was. And then they'd have that, like, angle of the fucking veterinarian horse doctor to put an animal down or something, and it's like necessity, and a kid might be sad and you lie to the kid. So they always got that lie thing all worked out, or that angle. And then this is just, qualitatively different. You just push it, but it's the same type of shit, and like euthanasia shit. God, it fucking would be, man. So now that's what I'm thinking, and my dad has this little social thing with that, especially when he said the collar, and the collar was off. And that's my dad, like, leaking it out, needing to say that, like he has the thing, or he's in it with people, or there's something going on. He's got to brag about it and be weird, right? Because his fucking narcissistic personality disorder. And he has a weird pride with it and shit, too. It's weird shit, and he's checking stuff. And that's what that fucking shit was. And I don't think it's just coming from him, because it wouldn't come from him, and then he's able to get everyone going. It's like, there's some fucking shit. There's some kind of weird shit. God, there fucking was, man. Like, when the dude, well, you guys look, the guy who killed himself, shot himself with a shotgun in the head, but it's presumably, like, well, it's supposed to be cleaning the gun. The professor, the history professor, right? The old German guy. He was like 70 years old or something. The wife was like 20 years younger. Or like 35, 30. 30 years younger. Yeah, 30. And the kids, those kids, yeah, they went to our school and stuff. But, so that happened. That was like right at the time of the divorce. So I was like 12, whatever. And my dad said, God, that was when he was separated. He went off to living somewhere. Heather said they're at a trailer and then up at the boondocks. And he said something like, that's good. Oh, he's like 70 years old and the wife's younger. You know, when it's that age, you know, maybe it's something good and you should do it and stuff. And it was out of character, and it didn't fit his shit, didn't fit my dad's midlife crisis thing. I think it's an artifact from talking to people. I think that's some shit that went around the university or someplace. Where they're saying it's like good, oh, he had a good life and he did that, right? And he did that. I think my dad picked that up. Quite sure. Now that's MI6. That's the old German. Like he's that kind of age, that nice 30 years old at the end of World War II, and all that. And that's MI6. With that, and I think it actually was just like what it sounds like. I don't think it's like foul play. And I think they fucked with him. I think they made him like, okay, you know, do your duty now. It was, man. And like it's fuck me, 'cause that's some shit, man. That's only from, I know that's shit. That's just pure like intuition. I see dead people. That's just from that. But it already scares me, man. I was like, yeah. So I'm not gonna just run my mouth, but I know that's the shit. Yeah. You know, so God. So that's that. Damn. And look at the Cedar Lake, when they flooded Cedar Lake. We were new there. We went out on the canoe. I guess we had just gotten the canoe. My dad bought a canoe. And we went out on Cedar Lake, and they were flooding it. You know, it's going to be the new reservoir. The backup water for the reservoir. The Carbondale City Reservoir, that's this lake. And then this like moderate sized lake. And then Cedar Lake will like flow into it, you know, with a pump, with the pipe. And we went out there, and there's spiders, a spider stranded on top of some weeds and stuff. So it was flooding. Now look at the roads that used to go. That, you know, there's that big old ridge top. Like you can't even get to it from Carbondale anymore. But I'm sure the roads used to run that and run up that. And like think about that, where those roads went, and how you go on those roads and back around, and then you go to Midland Hills and you circle around those apple orchards or whatever, and how that all connects it like that with those roads. Think about that, because that's from a dream. When I dreamed there's a big bridge that goes over there. After my dog died, like I got a little bit of sleep, like an hour, and then my dog was like gonna go walk that way, and I wasn't gonna see him again until the happy hunting ground. And there's a big bridge that went over the lake there. So, you know, it would be the original road. I think there's something going on with that. Yeah, and Senator Paul Simon's house, fuck yeah. Well, he's a congressman. Because his road, his house would be up there. Like, I guess you could get to, yeah, that would be nice. You get up there that way from the ridge, go that way, and another road, and the road that's left goes straight up there. Is that 51, old 51? That goes around and goes up to his house. He's got the house on top of the hill before you go into the valley of Macanda. You know, you go up on those ridge tops way out there, or the plateaus. So that would have all been that shit, right? There's like a busy place, right? One of the mayors of Carbondale drowned in the lake at Midland Hills, like in the old days. It said he was fishing and he fell and drowned, fell out of his boat, something like that, right? All kinds of shit, and that was a real place too. That was a real country club. The lake was probably nice too. It wasn't filled in. Midland Hills Lake. Yeah, so that was a real place, and those like places you go up on behind that on the other side of the lake. That's where all this stuff was. Yeah, oh hell yeah! And you go up in those hinterlands and go all around, and it wouldn't be a dead end. You'd be up finally in that flat land, and you could cross that one road would cross over and go back, and then you go back to Carbondale the other way. Right the fuck it was. We went out to Congressman Simon's house when I first moved to Carbondale as a kid. We went out there, and the kids were really nice. I don't know if we went out there again. I think it was just one time. My parents used to know the Eckerts. I think that was Senator Simon's house. I don't think it was at the Eckerts. They went to Eckerts some more. And the Eckerts, they moved to Texas by the mid-70s, 75 or 76. He got out of there. He had a drugstore, but that's not Eckerd Drug. That's something else. Like and maybe they just named it the same, something. And that's weird too, because like, if I'm getting this right, Eckerd, the mayor, he was the mayor, and he had the apple orchards, Eckert's orchards. And my dad said he did his books once when he first came to Carbondale. My dad knows math and all that. He's a sociologist, so that Mr. Eckerd had my dad look over his books. And he saw it. And now I'm thinking that's a weird thing. He's trying to like get the giant panda to mate or something. You know, like show the guy all your books, and then you can get a little get up and go, or maybe you can embezzle or do something or think about money. And like instead, my dad's just a tenured professor. He's going to get tenure. That's probably why he came there. So it's just like that. It's like the giant panda. He just sits there or whatever like that. I'm thinking, but God, man, Eckerd, he had his big drugstore, and it was like a CVS thing, a nice one. He opened, that wasn't always there. He opened that up at the strip mall, whatever that's called, Murdale Shopping Center. So that's there, and it's kind of a newer building. It's not really part of the Murdale, it's an extension. Then you go up there, and there's the Burger King and McDonald's up on that corner. It's McDonald's. It's McDonald's, right? Yeah. And then the creek and everything, and the floodplain. But you had the other drugstore, the actual original, the drugstore. And I go in there, that guy would be grumpy. And then that's the dad of my that girl that I was going out with at our school and stuff. So his kids went to our school, the professor kids' school, which is weird. It's also weird that they're both there. And it's some kind of weird thing. And I think people might know each other that act like they don't, or something. You know, it's all fucking. There's some weird stuff, man. There's Mr. Talk about a horse doctor. Damn, man. That was some scary shit. That story. That was a scary fucking story, man. That dude is serious. And it shouldn't be in there. And it's so serious. It's a thing. God. Yeah. Yeah, that's all that old shit, man. All that shit was connected, man. All to the CIA lady, all the horse, English horse riding, all the shit, all the stuff, all the fucking MI6. That was MI6. That was MI6. That was, man. They go way back for that shit. They go all the way back to the 20s and shit with that. Woodrow Wilson comes in the White House, right, and has to watch Birth of a Nation. It's like 1914. And that's fucking MI6, like helping back that shit up. Woodrow Wilson comes in and it's like fucking, like what is he? Some kind of weird northerner, southerner. He's like some adopted. Like he's like, he's like fucking his like grandfather even is like an abolitionist or something. He's some kind of Yankee thing, or maybe one of his grandparents is. And then the family moves to to Georgia, in the northern part of the state. So he's there at the end of the Civil War as a kid, like 10 years old. And so so he just remembers all that, like Woodrow Wilson. And he goes on with the shit. So he's a little bit southern. He's like adopted. And he's got all his redneck southerners in the fucking White House. And he'd been at the whatever colleges and writing his history books and shit and all the fucking shit. And then getting right into World War I just fine, seamlessly after he says he won't. So that's some MI6. That's some British stuff with Woodrow Wilson. And they do all the Klan. They run it. I think they run it like as far as their shit, it'll be like in America's First and all that, or staying out of the wars. I'm convinced they did the Henry Ford shit too. They work him and get him to do shit. It'll be like if you're anti-British or pro-German, because they're going to have issues with the Germans. Okay, if you're pro-German, anti-British, you have to be anti-Semitic. Okay, that's what British, like, that's their thing. They want to try to make that divide. So you have Henry Ford, and you have the other fuckers. Because I'm looking at these other guys, like, the guy, the Flynn, that wrote a book. Some of these guys were against all the Red Scare and all that. And then all against all the McCarthyism and all that shit later. Or against the bad part of it. In a bad way, but yeah. Yeah, and then and then if someone's gonna be yeah, the British fucking worked that shit. And all the shit, that's what you can miss. And then once you see that piece, like the America First Committee, you gotta see that as being totally infiltrated. And that's a lane they gotta be in. Like some of the guys don't know, but and then it shows too, like that dude, the Wheeler guy that's out in Montana. Like he's not with this shit. And he gets voted in by Irish guys out in Montana. And then they don't, like during the Red Scare, that Wheeler, he was a U.S. attorney, and he wouldn't prosecute these fake ass cases out in Montana. Like all that communist shit was like a lie, and he knew it, and he said it was a lie. And then he's against the God, and they're consistent. And that can indicate, but he was like worked for the America's First. I think that's him. But yeah, the British were fucking running that shit and working it. So stuff is crap, and they're the ones who made it. Like so it's Hitler instead of communists, and all the anti-Semitism. They fucking forced that shit. They had all the shit. They had all the reparations. All the money gets to come out through the banks in Davos. And they could work it however the fuck they want. They could just hand over someone some money. Hitler and all the fucking, those rednecks, they're making it work out that way. And that's the part you can miss, because you think, like, someone, being anti-British, then there's a mistake, but it's the fucking the Germans, but it's the British that were pushing it, making it so Germany would be like that. Like that's the only alternative. and pushing it to a certain point. But yeah, so that's our town, man. We got University Town. There was some shit going on.